I always wake up first in my house. That morning felt normal. Sunlight through the blinds, the smell of coffee drifting from the kitchen. But when I walked in, everything changed. My mom was smiling at me, like she'd never seen me before. And then she said something that froze me. "Sweetheart, I want you to meet my new child." I laughed nervously. "What are you talking about?" Then I saw him, sitting at the table, back turned to me at first. He turned around, and I swear to God, it was me. Same face, same hair, even the scar on my chin I got when I was 7. I couldn't move. My heart was pounding so loud I could barely hear. My mom put her hand on his shoulder and said, "This is your brother. He's part of the family now." "No," I whispered. "That's not my brother. That's me." The other me smiled, calm, like he'd been waiting for this. And when he spoke, my blood ran cold, because his voice was my voice. "Don't be scared," he said. "I just came to take your place." I stumbled back, almost tripping over the chair. My mom looked at me like I was the crazy one. "Stop being rude," she snapped. "Sit down and eat with us." "Mom, are you serious? Don't you see? He looks exactly like me." But she didn't even blink. "Enough. He's your brother. Treat him with respect." I couldn't breathe. I ran upstairs to my room, slammed the door shut, and stared into the mirror. I was still me. Still the same face, same scar, same brown eyes. So why was there another me downstairs? Why was my own mom choosing him over me? Knock, knock, knock. I froze. "Can I come in?" The voice on the other side of the door was mine. I didn't answer. The door creaked open anyway. And standing there was me, smiling, calm, too calm. "Don't worry, I'm only here to replace you." I slammed the door shut, locked it, pressed my back against it, like that would stop me. For a few seconds, I just listened. Silence. Then, 3 soft knocks. "Don't be scared," the voice said. "I'm not your enemy." My voice. Exactly my voice. I squeezed my eyes shut. This isn't real. This isn't real. When I opened them again, I was staring at the mirror above my desk. My reflection looked normal, but for a split second, I swear it smiled when I didn't. I stumbled back, heart hammering. No, I wasn't losing my mind. There had to be an explanation. I grabbed my phone, scrolled to my best friend's number. If anyone could prove I wasn't crazy, it was him. "Dude," I whispered when he picked up, "you won't believe this. There's someone in my house. Someone who looks exactly like me." Silence on the other end. Then he laughed nervously. "Yeah, your mom already told me. Said your brother finally moved in. That's awesome, man. Why didn't you tell me you had a twin?" My stomach dropped. "What twin? I don't have a twin." But he didn't believe me. He thought I was joking. When I came back downstairs, the other me was sitting at the table like he'd lived there forever. My mom poured him coffee. He thanked her with my exact tone of voice. I stared at her. "Mom, listen to me. He's not real. I'm your only kid. You know that." But she just frowned. "Honey, you're being cruel. Stop it." "Cruel?" My voice cracked. "He's an imposter." Her hand slammed against the table. "Enough," she snapped. "If you can't accept him, maybe you're the problem." The words cut deeper than I expected. Maybe I really was the problem. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every creak of the house, every shadow under the door, it felt like he was watching me, waiting. I finally drifted off sometime after midnight, and when I woke up, half the posters on my wall were gone. No, not gone, changed. The faces in the photos weren't me anymore. They were his. Panic rose in my chest. I tore through my closet, my drawers, old photos, birthday cards, even my driver's license. All of it had his face now, not mine. I stumbled to the bathroom mirror. For a long moment, I just stared. It was still me staring back. But how long until even that was gone? I ran downstairs, clutching one of the altered photos in my hand. "Mom, look, this isn't me. Don't you see it?" She barely glanced at it. "That's you," she said calmly. "Why are you showing me old pictures?" "No," my voice cracked. "This isn't me. This is him." And then he walked into the room, still wearing my smile, still moving like he owned my body. He looked at the photo in my hand and winked. I couldn't stop shaking. Everywhere I looked, things were changing. Not all at once, slowly, quietly, like the world itself was choosing him over me. It started with the photos, but then I noticed other things. My trophies from Little League, his name was on the plaques now. My yearbook, every picture of me had his face. Even my phone, texts from friends used to say, "Hey man, wanna hang out?" Now they said, "Hey, tell your brother to come too." Brother, a word that was never part of my life. I tried to fight it. I dug through boxes in the attic, searching for proof I existed. Old report cards, drawings from elementary school, birthday invitations. But every single one had changed. The handwriting was mine, but the name wasn't. It was his. That night, I confronted him. He was sitting on the couch, flipping through a photo album like he owned it. "Stop messing with my stuff," I snapped. "That's not yours." He looked up, my face on his face, and said calmly, "It's always been mine." No! I grabbed the album, flipped to a random page. It was my 10th birthday party. I remembered the cake, the balloons, the stupid magician Mom hired. But in the picture, I wasn't there. He was. I stumbled back, heart racing. You're rewriting my life." He smiled. "No, I'm fixing it." The next day at school, things got worse. People who'd known me for years, friends, teachers, looked right past me. "Hey, where's your brother?" one of them asked. "You two look so much alike." I wanted to scream. I did scream, but they just laughed, as if I was jealous, as if I was the copy. That night, I overheard Mom talking in the kitchen. Her voice was low, hushed. I pressed my ear to the door. "Don't worry," she said softly. "He's adjusting. It won't be long now." And then his voice answered. My voice. "I know. Soon, he'll disappear." I stumbled back, heart slamming against my ribs. Disappear? Were they talking about me? I ran to my room, locked the door, and pressed my back against it. My breathing came in gasps. I couldn't stop the thought circling in my head. If everyone believed he was me, what would happen to me? I couldn't take it anymore. The whispers, the lies, the feeling that my own life was slipping through my fingers. So that night, I decided to spy on them. I crept downstairs around midnight. The lights in the kitchen were still on. Voices carried through the hall. My mom's voice and his. I crouched behind the wall, barely breathing. "Is he starting to forget?" Mom asked. Her tone was casual, like she was asking about groceries. "Yes," he said, my voice, calm. "He's breaking down. It won't be long before he fades." My stomach twisted. They were talking about me. I pressed my hand against my mouth to keep from gasping. "But what if he resists? What if he doesn't disappear?" He chuckled. "He can't stop it. He's not meant to exist. I am." Silence. Then my mom whispered something I'll never forget. "Good. You're the son I always wanted." I almost screamed. The floor seemed to vanish under my feet. The air burned in my lungs. She didn't want me anymore. She wanted him. I stumbled back up the stairs, trying not to make a sound. But my mind was spinning. What was happening to me? Why was Mom helping him? And what did she mean by always wanted? I tore through her bedroom while she was still downstairs. Drawers, closets. I needed answers. Finally, in the back of her dresser, a locked box. I smashed it open with the lamp. Inside were papers, old documents, birth certificates, hospital records, and one photograph. It showed my mom in a hospital bed holding a baby. But there were two bassinets beside her, two babies. On the back of the photo, in her handwriting, were 3 words. "Only one survives." My hand shook as I dropped the photo. 2 babies, twins. I wasn't supposed to be an only child. But then, what happened to the other one? The answer hit me like a punch. The other one didn't die. He came back. I shoved the photo into my pocket, heart racing. I needed to run. I needed to get out of that house before they realized I knew. But when I opened the bedroom door, he was standing there, blocking my way, smiling with my smile. "You shouldn't have seen that," he whispered. He stood in the doorway. My doorway. My twin. My double. My replacement. And that smile. Like he already knew he'd won. I backed up until my legs hit the bed. "Stay away from me," I whispered. He tilted his head, studying me like I was some broken toy. "Why are you fighting this?" he asked. "You've had your turn. Now it's mine." "My turn?" My voice cracked. "This is my life, not yours." He stepped closer. The air felt heavier with every move he made. "You don't get it, do you?" he said softly. "I was the first. You were the mistake." The words stabbed deeper than any knife. I shook my head. No, that's not true." He grinned wider. "Then why does she love me more?" My chest tightened. Rage mixed with fear until I could barely breathe. "Stay out of my life," I snapped, "or I'll—" "You'll what?" he interrupted. "You'll tell Mom. She already knows. You'll tell your friends. They already like me better." He leaned in so close I could feel his breath. "You're already disappearing, piece by piece." I shoved him. Hard. For a second I expected him to stumble. But he didn't move, not an inch. His smile never broke, like he wasn't even human. "Look," he said calmly, "you can make this easier. Just let go. Close your eyes. Fall asleep. When you wake up, you'll be gone. Peaceful. Painless." "No," I shouted. "I'm not giving up. This is my life." Something flickered in his eyes then. Anger, for the first time. He leaned in, voice low and sharp. "Then I'll have to take it from you." Suddenly, Mom's footsteps echoed in the hall. The door creaked open. "What's going on in here?" she demanded. I pointed at him, panicked. Mom, don't you see him? He's trying to replace me. But she only looked at me, the one standing near the bed. Her eyes filled with disgust. Why are you yelling at your brother? My heart sank. She didn't see the difference anymore. Maybe she never did. Maybe I was already losing. He stepped past her, still smiling. Don't worry, Mom. I'll take care of everything. And as he walked out of my room, he glanced back at me and mouthed the words, "You're almost gone." The next morning, something was wrong. I didn't recognize my own reflection. It was subtle at first. The eyes in the mirror, they weren't as sharp. The scar on my chin faded, like it was never there. I touched my face. The glass felt cold, but the person staring back at me didn't feel like me anymore. I ran downstairs. Mom was making breakfast. He was already sitting at the table, drinking orange juice like he owned the place. Morning, Mom said, smiling at him, not at me. I slid into a chair, but she didn't pour me coffee, didn't even set a plate for me. Mom, I asked, where's mine? She frowned like she didn't understand. What do you mean? You already ate. My blood ran cold. No, I didn't. But she turned away, humming, like the conversation never happened. At school, it got worse. Teachers called his name during attendance, and when I said, "I'm here," they looked at me funny. "Why are you answering for him?" one asked. "You're not even on the list." Not on the list. I'd been in that class all semester, and now, suddenly, I didn't exist. I grabbed my yearbook again, desperate. But when I flipped through the pages, my face wasn't there. Every single memory, class photos, clubs, sports teams, all had him instead of me. It was like I'd been erased. That night, I asked him directly, cornered him in the hallway. What are you doing to me? Why am I disappearing? He just smirked. I told you, this was never your life. You borrowed it, and now it's over. No, I'm real. I've always been here. He leaned closer, his whisper colder than ice. Prove it. I ran back to my room, tore through drawers, boxes, anything that could prove I was real. But every photo, every certificate, every piece of paper, all had his name, his face. My proof of existence was gone. For the first time, I wondered if maybe he was right, if maybe I was the mistake, the copy, the shadow. And as that thought dug deeper into me, the reflection in the mirror flickered again. This time, my face was almost gone. By now, everyone looked past me. Mom, teachers, even strangers on the street. It was like I was fading from the world, piece by piece. But then, someone finally looked at me. It happened in the hallway at school. I was walking, invisible as always, when I heard a voice. Hey, are you okay? I turned. It was my best friend, Evan, the one I'd called the night it all started. And he was staring right at me, like I was still real. You remember me? I asked. My voice cracked. He frowned. Of course I do. Why wouldn't I? Tears burned in my eyes, because for days, everyone had treated me like a ghost, but he still saw me. I need your help, I whispered. We snuck out behind the school, away from the noise. I told him everything, about the photos, about my mom, about him. When I finished, I was shaking, half expecting Evan to laugh or call me crazy, but he didn't. He just nodded slowly. I believe you, he said. For the first time in weeks, I felt hope, but it didn't last long. Because when we turned the corner, he was already there. My double, waiting for us. Evan froze. His eyes darted between me and him. Holy shit, there's two of you. My double smirked. Finally, someone else could see him too. He stepped forward, calm as ever. So, you told him. Stay away from him, I snapped. He's not part of this. But my double ignored me. His eyes locked on Evan. You shouldn't be able to see me, he said slowly, which means maybe you don't belong either. Evan grabbed my arm. Let's go, he hissed. We ran, through the parking lot, down the street, not stopping until our lungs were burning. But even then, I could feel it. He was following. That night, Evan came to my house. We locked ourselves in my room, whispering like fugitives. There has to be proof, Evan said. Something that shows you're real, something he can't erase. I wanted to believe him, but deep down, I wasn't sure that proof existed anymore. And as I glanced at the mirror, I saw it again. My reflection, fading. Evan was the only one left who believed in me, the only one who still saw me. So together, we made a plan. We'd leave, tonight, before my double could erase me completely. We waited until the house was quiet, Mom asleep in her room, him somewhere in the dark. We crept down the stairs, backpacks ready. Every step felt like the floor could give us away. I whispered, once we're out, we don't look back. Evan nodded, but as we reached the front door, he was already there. My double, standing in the shadows, smiling, always smiling. Going somewhere? He asked. My voice, cold. Evan grabbed my hand. Run! We bolted past him, shoving the door open. For one glorious second, I felt free, but then a hand clamped around my wrist. His hand. My hand. I screamed, yanking, but his grip was like iron. Evan pulled, shouting, "Let him go!" For a moment, I thought maybe I'd win, maybe I could break free. But then my mom appeared in the hallway, her eyes empty. "Don't fight him," she whispered. "He's the real one. You were never supposed to be here." The words shattered me. I turned to Evan, desperate. Tell her I'm real." But when I looked into his face, his expression changed. Confusion. Fear. He stared at me like he didn't recognize me anymore. Like the erasure had finally reached him too. "No," I choked. "Not you. Please, not you too." My double leaned in, his lips at my ear. "See? Even he's forgetting." And then he pulled. I felt it. My strength draining, my body turning cold like I was being sucked out of the world. The last thing I saw was Evan's face, torn between two versions of me, his mouth opening like he wanted to scream, but he couldn't decide which one of us was real. And in that hesitation, I vanished. When I woke up, I wasn't in my room. I wasn't in my house. I wasn't anywhere. Just darkness. Endless, suffocating darkness. I pounded my fists, screaming, but no one heard. Because out there, in the world, he was living my life. And I was nothing.